we go to the Miami RedHawks. The RedHawks obviously have made it to three straight MAC titles, so this is definitely a team you've got to circle and look at. Like, okay, what do they have, and who who has to worry about facing this team basically because they have been a wagon lately. What are your first thoughts when you look at their schedule?
Yeah, so looking at their schedule. So first off, Chuck Martin is just a beacon of stability there, and I know that they lose pieces on offense. I mean, of course they lose. They lose to Quan Finn, but that loss is kind of offset by some of the things that happened at the end of the year when they got young guys experience at the quarterback position. On defense, excuse me, I know they had guys like Jackson Kuwach that went to All Star games, and just other guys that were contributors that are gone as well. But Chuck Martin always seems to reload. I think looking at their schedule, their non-conference schedule is like the biggest question mark. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Got suddenly attacked by mucus. But I think they can shock either Pitt or Cincinnati. That's just the type of program that Miami is. And then UConn is a game that's a swing game. Like we know Jason Candle's a great coach, but I don't know if UConn's transfer portal pieces are going to mesh well by that time. So we'll see there. But very realistically, like I can see Miami going 3-1 with either a win against Pitt or Cincinnati, just with the way that they're built as a program. And with the win against either, I think they're a playoff contender. I do think that the schedule, they got a favorable draw as well with getting Bowling Green, UMass, Akron, Kent State, and Buffalo. Like those are all games that they should be favored in, really. And I really don't see much stopping Miami from making a fourth straight MAC championship game because we know that the MAC cannibalizes itself. So if their only two losses in conference play are to Central Michigan, which is on the road, and Western Michigan, which is on the road, or Central Michigan or Ohio, any combination of the two of those three, I think we're looking at Miami making another MAC championship game. But I will say though, I like we talked a little bit before Miami Western Michigan a MAC championship rematch just being on a weeknight, like I think that's the type of matchups like you said, and not to get into that again, but now that we're talking about Miami, like that's the type of matchups I think the MAC should be building like for their weeknight games, like getting the teams that were really good and just not putting the rivalries on the weekend, but appealing to the casual fan that knows that saw Jalen Buckley run for 1,000,000 yards in the Myrtle Beach Bowl, and like, oh hey, they're playing against Miami, who is always in the MAC championship game from a casual fan's perspective. So yeah, that's just my take on this rivalry. But I think we could be looking at a Miami Central Michigan MAC championship game just based on what we've seen with these schedules so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's definitely a lot to like here about Miami's non-conference schedule. Like it very much is a good combination of it's a schedule of opportunities, but it's not impossible too. Like they have a shot at all of those games. They also have a chance of losing all of them, but they also have a shot at winning all of those games. Again, Pitt, that's not a long trip. They Pitt looks like they're going to be pretty solid, but again, like that's not an unbeatable team. Miami shows up, plays well, forces some turnovers. They can get that done. Cincinnati, neutral site at the FC Cincinnati Soccer Stadium here in Cincinnati. So that will be a kind of cool neutral site game there. I think it'll be interesting that it's going to be taking place kind of in an area that can get, look a lot better attendance wise, fill out more fans. I think it'll bring some excitement there. And then, of course, UConn at home is going to be a really cool game and a massive one. So that will definitely be very interesting to watch. And yeah, I think you really circled those conference games that are going to be huge ones to watch. At Central Michigan, at Western Michigan, those are really going to shape a lot of how the MAC goes. It does feel like Miami can make it to the MAC title without winning those games, but at the same time, like that's for Central Western Michigan. Like that's how you make it to the MAC titles. You've got to pull off this home game against Miami, and of course, again, like this is another situation where we end up with a disappointing draw here. Like the Battle of the Bricks, unfortunately, is on a Tuesday. I mean, that's not as bad for me. I'm not that far away. Maybe I could try to make it there, but um, but still, like that's definitely not what you want to see. Is it one of your more in demand home games being on a Tuesday?